Hello students. Today we are going to study the electrical properties of the solids. As we know, on the basis of electrical properties, solids can be classified into three categories. Those are conductors, semiconductors and insulators. Conductors having greater electrical conductivity is in the range 10 raised to 4 to 10 raised to 6 per ohm per meter. While in case of semiconductors, it lie in between 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter. While in case of insulator, it has very low electrical conductivity and it lies in between 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter. That means insulators are a very bad conductor of electricity. They does not conduct electricity. While in case of semiconductor, they are in between conductor and insulators. They can conduct electricity but poorly, and that's why they are considered as a poor conductor of electricity. While in case of conductor, they are the good conductor. They having greater electrical conductivity. And we know that normally metals, then ionic electrons, ionic compounds are mostly good conductors of electricity. But in case of metals, electricity conduction is carried out through the flow of electrons, while in case of ionic compounds, it is carried out in the form of ions, migration of ions. Now, there is one theory for our study which is called as band theory. This theory explains the electrical properties of the solid. How, according to this theory, actually in solids, particles are in a compact nature. They are very close to each other, and due to their close nature, there is crowding of atoms. And each atom possesses number of atomic orbitals also. That means there is crowding of atomic orbitals also. And due to crowding of atomic orbitals, what happens? These atomic orbital mix with each other, and there is formation of a molecular orbitals. Due to mixing of number of atomic orbitals, there is formation of a number of molecular orbitals also, and those molecular orbitals merge with each other to form two types of bands. Those bands are known as conduction band and valence band. Normally, the conduction band possesses free electrons. If the conduction band presents free electron, then only that substance can conduct the electricity. But if in some cases conduction band does not possess free electron, that means that solid could not conduct the electricity. The distance between the conduction and valence band is known as band gap. If the band gap is so large, that means no electrons can be promoted from valence band to the conduction band, because for the conduction there is requirement of a free electron. If the free electrons are present in conduction band, then only there is a chance of conduction. But sometimes what happens, if the gap between the conduction band and valence band is not so large, in that case sometimes valence electron can be promoted to the conduction band, and that's why there will be the availability of free electron in a conduction band, and so that there is conduction can be possible. But in case of metal, there is no so large distance, very small distance, or sometimes distance may be absent between the conduction and valence band, and that's why there is more availability of free electron, and so that conductors are good conductor of electricity. While in case of insulator, the gap is so large, and what happened, due to that large gap, valence band electron could not promote it to the conduction band, and so that insulators are bad conductor of electricity. While in case of semiconductor, the gap is not so large. That's why sometimes valence band electron can be promoted to the conduction band. As we know, conduction band is a high energy band, whereas valence band is a low energy band. That's why valence band electrons cannot be easily promoted. They require high amount of energy. That means when we give temperature to the substance, in that case valence band electron can be promoted to the conduction band. That means we can say that on heating, on increase of temperature, valence band electron can be transferred to the conduction band, and that substance can conduct the electricity. This is all about the band theory. Now there is one important topic for our there is one important topic in your physics, that is semiconductor, which is also important in chemistry also. As we know, semiconductors are the poor conductor of electricity, and they are having electrical conductivity in between conductor and insulator. So that is important to study semiconductors. As per the classification, semiconductors can be classified into two categories. One is called as intrinsic, second one is called as extrinsic. Intrinsics means they are the pure materials, they are the pure semiconductors, pure metalloids. They can be used for the conductance. But these pure metals having low conductivity, and the low conductivity pure materials are known as intrinsic semiconductor. Now we turn towards the extrinsic semiconductor. To increase the conductivity of that semiconductor, there is introduction of impurity, and due to introduction of impurity, what happen, the conductivity of the semiconductor increases, and these type of semiconductors are known as extrinsic semiconductor. The semiconductor having impurity to increase the conductivity, electrical conductivity, or the semiconductors having greater electrical conductivity are known as extrinsic semiconductor. And there are two types of extrinsic semiconductor on the basis of type of impurity. Those types are n-type and p-type semiconductor. N-type semiconductor means the impurity will be 15 group elements, while in case of p-type semiconductor, the impurity will be 13 group elements. Normally 15 group elements are added to the 14 group elements, that is silicon, in the silicon, and due to introduction of 15 group element into the silicon, there is formation of a n type of semiconductor. Whereas in case of p type semiconductor, what happen, the 13 group, that is boron, can be introduced in a silicon. As we know, 15 group elements are electron rich elements. That means there is addition of more number of electrons. Whereas in case of p-type semiconductor, there is addition of less number of electrons. Because 13 group elements are not so electron rich as compared to the elements of the 15 group. One again thing, both these semiconductors are used in a solar cell. Both are very important, and they are used mostly in a solar cell. This is about the semiconductors. And there is one example for the n type of semiconductor is, the n type of semiconductor is formed when phosphorus impurity is introduced in a silicon. Whereas in case of p-type semiconductor, example can be when the boron impurity is introduced in a silicon. These are the examples for the semiconductor n-type and p-type. This is all about the semiconductors. Now we turn towards the magnetic properties, the last part of our chapter, that is magnetic properties of the solids. We can see here both the type of semiconductors also. I have the pictures. We can see here, this is the example here, silicon atom in which phosphorus impurity is introduced, which is electron rich impurity, and due to introduction of electron rich impurity, there is formation of a n type of semiconductor. Whereas in case of p type of semiconductor, there is introduction of boron impurity, and due to introduction of a boron impurity, boron is an electron deficient center, not electron rich center, and there is formation of a p type of semiconductor. We can see using these structures also. In case of n type of semiconductor, there is extra electron is added in a conduction band, whereas in case of p type of semiconductor, here there is electron hole is formed. We can see here there is one hole is formed in a valence band. Okay, you can see here these pictures are available in your book also, so go through it. Now we turn towards the last point of our chapter, that is magnetic properties of the solid. How magnetic properties are developed in a solid? Because solid consists of atoms in which electrons are revolve around the nucleus, and we know that during the revolution of electron also revolve around their own axis like this, and due to the revolution of electron around its own axis, it generate magnetic moment, and when it come in the contact with a magnetic field, it show magnetic properties, and that magnetic properties are known as magnetism, or this is also known as magnetism in a solids. Depending on the basis of number of electrons or number of paired or unpaired electron, there are three types of magnetism. There are three types of magnetic properties observed in solids. There are three types of substances. There are three types of solids according to the magnetism. The first one, which is called as dimagnetism, or the substances which carry dimagnetism are known as diamagnetic substances. Suppose there is one solid in which all the electrons in a paired condition, there is no unpaired electron. In that case, what will happen? The first electron in a paired condition will rotate like this clockwise manner, while in case of second electron which is paired, which rotate in an anti-clockwise manner, and that's why there is formation of a opposite magnetic moment, and opposite magnetic moment cancels each other. That's why the net magnetic moment will be zero, and this type of magnetism or this type of magnetic property is called as diamagnetic property, and the substances we show diamagnetic property are known as diamagnetic substances. For example, for example, rubber, plastic, all these are the examples of diamagnetic substances. Then in your book, nitrogen, fluorine, as well as NaCl, H2O, benzene, these are also the example of diamagnetic substances, we can say. Then next, the second thing, that is paramagnetism. In some solids, what happen? There are unpaired electron, but very less number of unpaired electron present in the atoms, and due to those unpaired electron, there is revolution of electron. Due to revolution of electron, there is also magnetic moment, and due to that magnetic moment, there is generation of a magnetic moment, magnetism. There is generation of a magnetism, and that type of magnetism is called as paramagnetism. The magnetism which is developed due to presence of or revolution of less number of unpaired electron is known as paramagnetism, and the substances which carry paramagnetism are known as paramagnetic substances. Examples are oxygen, then Cr3 plus, Fe3 plus. These are the ions which show paramagnetism. And the last, that is third magnetic property, is ferromagnetism. In case of ferromagnetism, what happens? There is number of unpaired electrons, and due to presence of number of unpaired electrons, the magnetic moment is so large, and due to large value of magnetic moment, they carry more magnetism or strong magnetism, or those substances can be permanently magnetized, and those substances are called as ferromagnetic substances. There is one difference between the paramagnetism and ferromagnetism. In case of paramagnetism, the substances can lose their magnetic property when magnetic field is removed, but in case of ferromagnetism, these substances are permanently magnetized. This is the important difference, and we know that ferromagnetism can be shown by iron, nickel, cobalt. These are the metals which show ferromagnetism. So this is all about the magnetic properties of the solids and electrical properties of the solids. Magnetic properties can be studied using Gauss method. So you can go through the notes, go through this video again and again. Your concept will be clear, and if your concept is not clear, then ask me, I will explain the things. Okay, so have a nice day. इथे आपला चॅप्टर संपतोय. उद्याच्या व्हिडिओमध्ये आपण प्रॉब्लेम सेक्शन पाहणार आहोत. तर प्रॉब्लेम सेक्शनच्या दृष्टिकोनानं जे अनसॉल्व्ड प्रॉब्लेम आहेत आपल्या बुकमध्ये त्याचं सोल्युशन मी तुम्हाला देईन. ते सोल्युशन कसं करायचं, कुठले कुठले फॉर्म्युले अप्लाय करायचे आहेत आपल्याला, ते फॉर्म्युले पण मी तुम्हाला नोट्सच्या माध्यमातून देणार आहे. तर हा व्हिडिओ तुम्ही सिरियसली पाहून घ्या. तुमच्या कन्सेप्ट क्लिअर होतील होप सो. आणि जर झाल्या नाहीत तर मला कॉन्टॅक्ट करा. ठीक आहे. रिप्लाय मी. थँक्यू.